Hey everyone, we've got a pretty active weekend ahead weather-wise. We've got two big rounds of severe weather that we could be seeing across the state of Alabama. So let's give you guys an update on what we can expect. So let's start with round one of the two severe storms that we could possibly be seeing. So this will be taking place around Friday 9 p.m. through Saturday 7 a.m. That's the time frame for when we could see this first round of storms. So as you can tell, this is possibly an overnight event. So definitely need to make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts during the night. Threats with this system could include large hail, damaging winds, and the possible tornado or two. Now, if you look over to the left, we have our most western counties, areas like Winston, Marion, Fayette, Walker County, parts of Tuscaloosa County, areas like that off to our west that are under that 3 out of 5 enhanced risk. That's where we could see the greater threats, and you can see that severe weather threat does diminish as we head further east across the state. So this is just round one, and not even a few hours later will we be getting round two. This is going to be more of a bigger threat than that first round of storms. As you can see here, the entire central Alabama area is highlighted under that 3 out of 5 enhanced risk. And even if you take the bigger picture, pretty much the entire state of Alabama is under this 3 out of 5 enhanced risk. So the entire state could be possibly seeing some severe storms later Saturday afternoon throughout the evening hours. So the National Weather Service has outlined this time frame to be around noon Saturday through 3 a.m. Sunday, though looking at models, it kind of seems like this will be out of here by about 1 a.m., 12 a.m. Sunday morning. So this isn't really an overnight threat. It's more of a daytime situation. Of course, it does go into the evening hours, but it's not something you have to, stay up all night long for. Now, the threats with this second round of storms includes large hail that could be up to golf ball sized, damaging winds, and tornadoes are a possibility with the second round of storms, and some of them could be on the stronger side. That means we could be seeing tornadoes that are ranked higher than an EF2. So definitely a lot to pay attention to, a lot of things to be on the lookout for. So let's break this down a little bit further for you to show you what we're exactly dealing with. So this is composite reflectivity. Starting on that Friday evening, the overnight hours with that first round of storms. As you can see, we've got those storms off to our west. They're kind of staying off to our western counties, and it's kind of disorganized, which is why that threat is not so big for more eastern counties, but those western counties are still under that 3 out of 5 enhanced risk to begin. So this is later into the overnight hours, starting to become Saturday morning at this point, and you can see that pretty much it's just a bunch of disorganized mess. So we do have, of course, that severe threat is still there, but it is not going to be as great as that Saturday afternoon threat of storms that we do see. Now, this is later on into the afternoon on Saturday, and this is the very small break we have in between those two rounds of storms. As you can see here, we do have that line of storms starting to organize out to our west, and by the time we hit later into the afternoon hours Saturday, we do see those storms start to head across central Alabama, or pretty much the entire state of Alabama. And you can see here we do have some discrete supercells that are ahead of that main line of storms, which is not the best case scenario. That is where our more stronger storms will come up. So that is definitely something we're going to need to pay attention to, watch as we get closer to this day on Saturday. So this is later on into the evening hours. We've seen that line is starting to continue to move across central Alabama. It's more organized, formed. It's a QLCS, which is just a fancy term of a line of strong storms. So you can see that is starting to continue to head across the state, and by around midnight, 1 a.m., this line is pretty much out of the state. So like I said, it's not really an overnight event. It's more of a daytime event on Saturday to pay attention to. So that is what we're looking like in the bigger picture. So let's look at some severe weather parameters that just kind of help us determine, how strong could these storms possibly be. So this first product that I'm using is the Energy Helicity Index. This is just a product that helps us understand the instability in the atmosphere. So this is the same timeline as I just showed you. This is starting Friday night, and as you can see, that main threat of storms is off to our west, and we can see the most unstable air is off to our west as well. So once again, those western counties that I mentioned at the beginning that were in that 3 out of 5 enhanced risk, definitely be weather aware Friday evening through the overnight hours, because you could be seeing the greater chance of those threats that I mentioned. So that first round of storms, like I said, is more of an issue for the most western part of the state. But now as we head into the next round of storms into Saturday afternoon and night, we can see that instability does pick up a lot, and we do see that it is pretty much covering the entire state at that point. And then this is later on into the evening hours. You can see that instability is still pretty much across the entire state, very present. And then once we hit about midnight, 1 a.m. Sunday morning, pretty much all that severe weather threat is out of the state completely. And now we're looking at supercell composite. This is, again, just another product that we use to help determine where could supercells, develop the most, compared to what the atmosphere is telling us. So this is pretty much, like I said, the same timeline. Starting Friday night, we have that greater threat off to our west. You can see that we have that more of that instability still heading off to our west. And this is, again, later on into the day, Saturday, we do start to see that instability pick up a little bit. And by the time we hit the afternoon hours Saturday, once again, we are seeing those greater numbers, instability with all of the products that we are using to determine, how severe this could be. Again, it's across the entire state almost. Pretty much it is showing that we do have unstable air. We do have moisture at the surface. We do have all of the factors that we need to have some significant severe weather on this day. And then, like I said, with all the other products, it's pretty much out of here by midnight, 1 a.m., maybe even 2 a.m. at the latest, but I'm pretty sure it'll be out of here before the early morning hours of Sunday. So that is the good thing that we don't have to worry about with this big main event of the 2 rounds of storms. It'll be pretty much over with before Sunday morning even really gets here. So that's the good thing. It's not a significant overnight event, but it's still something we have to pay attention to throughout the day Saturday. So how can we prepare for this active weather weekend? Make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts. Like I mentioned with that first round of storms, that is an overnight event. So make sure you have multiple ways you are receiving alerts in case there is a watch or a warning that's issued. Make sure you know where your safe place is. If you live in a 1-story home, that would be the most interior room, no windows, away from any exterior walls. That's usually something like a bathroom or a closet. If you live in a 2-story home, just get to the absolute lowest floor you possibly can, like the basement maybe. If you live in a mobile home or an apartment complex, anything like that, that is when you would want to seek a community shelter. There's plenty throughout central Alabama and just the state in general. So just make sure you look up ahead of time where that community shelter may be. And of course, stay up to date with your local meteorologist. Make sure that you are keeping up with the weather. This is still, a day or 2 away. This could change before we get to Saturday. So make sure you are keeping up to date with your meteorologist to make sure there aren't any changes in this severe weather. That's all I've got for you guys. Make sure that you are staying weather aware no matter where you are in Alabama on Saturday. That is going to be pretty much the bigger day to look at out of this entire weekend. So just make sure you're prepared and you are weather aware.